All right, he's going to be in the alley just north of Denny Park, on south of Westlake, to the east of Dexter. He's just walking down the alley southbound with the stick on fire, and it is very on fire.
Alley north of Denny Park, south of Westlake, Dexter, walking southbound.
Hey, Seattle police, stop! Not here! Seattle police, stop, dude! All right, he's going to be in the alley.
It's you for It's you for 44, 45 nation of immigrants, so white sending us back. Hold up, 44, step forward, 45. You're falsifying the narrative, the alternative fact. Hold up, 44, step forward, 45. Last stop in French, but now you wanna bring it back. Hold up, 44, step forward, 45 steps back. Here's about the wall, we need our healthcare intact. It's you for state divisions amongst party lines, beefing with dignitaries and obsessed with border lines. Border crossings are down, court expenditures going up. Refuse to fly It's you for 44, that's forward, 45 steps back. We're a nation of immigrants, so white sending us back. Hold up, step forward, 45. You're falsifying the narrative, the alternative fact. Hold up, 45. To the court of the last stop in French, but now you wanna bring it back. Hold up.
Man, I don't like this chair, man. It's making too much noise. Can I get another chair? Can we switch out chairs? I can't deal with this chair.
It's you for It's you for 44, 45. Nation of immigrants, so white sending us back. Hold up, 44, step forward, 45. You're falsifying the narrative, the alternative fact. Hold up, 44, step forward, 45.
I bid you all a shalom. I bid everybody assalamu alaikum. I say peace and blessing to you, and I welcome you. And you know what? Y'all hold on. Hey, we can't do this chair, man. I told y'all about this chair. It's driving me crazy. Y'all hold on a minute. This is what I'm talking about. Hold on. Y'all hold on a second. Y'all hear this? I can't do this, man. Hold on a second. Hey, hold on. No. Hey, hold on. Hold on. Thank you. It's gonna be okay. No, y'all be all right. Tell Bobby and them. Yeah, we cool. It's cool. It's better. It's better. Yeah. All right, that's better. Thank you much. There we go. All right, now, sorry about that, y'all. We had to do some housekeeping up in here because sometimes you got to make sure you got your seat. Sometimes you have to have the right seat in the house. Sometimes you got to make sure that wherever you sitting in the house, you are in the right seat. Because if you show up and you find out you in somebody else's seat after you gotten comfortable, now you got to pick up all your stuff. You done got comfortable, put your phone down, put your drink down. You done got comfortable. You right up front waiting to see Mary. Come to find out, hey partner, I think you're in the wrong seat. Happens on airplanes. You're on the plane, you're looking out the window, daydreaming, looking at the engines, about to take off, and all of a sudden, excuse me. And they don't never do it cool. Here we go. They don't never do it cool, do they? They don't come to be like, hey, bro, can we see your ticket? No, they got to make a big production. Now they bring the stewardess. You looking up, that just blow the whole mood. You looking at people like, what? And they're like, wait, can we see your ticket, please? What, this is an investigation. Do you have a warrant? The problem is you don't want to be in the wrong seat. So I want to welcome everybody back. Factz Ova Feelingz special edition. Let me go ahead and give a big shout out. NFAC in the house. Stand up, stand by. You already know what it is. Everybody else who's a child of the Most High, I like to say welcome to you, because tonight we're going to have to play around in a couple of places as we begin to open the third installment in the 8-part series of the Nephilim and the Pyramid of the Apocalypse. You've been waiting for it. Here it is. Everybody has had all weekend to go back and study the first 2 parts. I'm pretty sure you found out. Can I have your autograph? If you haven't seen Can I Have Your Autograph, then you haven't had your theology picked up, flipped over, suplex, figure forward, smashed into a bunch of bits, and Humpty Dumpty and that gang couldn't put it together again. So if you need to go catch that before you catch this, because tonight a couple of people might get lost in the curves. I'm gonna need y'all to stay with me, because tonight we have to figure out whose seat is that. Whose seat is it? I believe you got my seat. Let's find out. Before I can continue, and I want to then again, let me stop. I gotta stop. I gotta salute. I gotta take time to do this. I gotta send a big shout out. And y'all stay with me. Don't be hating. Don't nobody hate. Just roll with your boy real quick. Roll with me. But I gotta give a massive salute to all the sisters tuned in tonight. Every sister, I don't care where you at in the world. Brothers, y'all need to stop and pause for a second. We need to give it up for the sisters. You don't know what it takes to be them. You don't know what they have to put up with. You don't know how hard it is for them to feel safe when they walking down the street, especially when they see a bunch of brothers. We are doing our best to change their image. We standing up, brothers. So I want to take a minute to salute the sisters. We done got that out the way. Sisters, stand up, keep standing. Everybody else, all the brothers, all the kings, all of those who are the descendants of the greatest civilization on earth, those who know that they are jealous of you, but those who also know that the hard times that we are experiencing, we're experiencing them because of things that happened before us. Things that happened before us that we had nothing to do with, but we inherited it, the circumstances. You understand what I'm saying? Like a bad debt. Person passed away, now they calling your phone. So now what we have is a situation where some things have come into a timely focus and we got to deal with them. So if you're sitting around scratching your head trying to figure out why brothers is sitting on your phone, on your tablet, on your flat screen at home, on whatever you tuned in with to right here to this class, why now? Why is all of this happening right now? People have been talking about this stuff for years, right? Everybody been making it plain for you, right? You had ample warning to know that when the time became right and you saw signs in the skies, when you saw plagues around the world, when you saw evil becoming good and good becoming evil and people not giving a damn which one is flip-flopped, when nobody has any morals anymore, when anything goes, anything, you make it up, everybody jump on board. When that time comes, you're supposed to already know what's about to happen. And I love the part in the first Enoch with Yahweh's name restored, where it says, when the punishment comes, even the righteous won't be spared, but they will find peace. That's what he says. Now let me unpack that real quick. We got to stop right here. Y'all put y'all kickstand down. When I read that, I said, well, he said, we're going to find shalom. Okay, shalom means peace. Okay, well, hold on a second. What kind of peace do you mean? Because if you're talking about rest in peace, now hold on, we got to renegotiate the deal. You got to at least give us an option. Everything that in the scripture said you was giving options and deals and letting people get tried and the whole 9 yards. We can't get a deal? Well, when you know the whole story, you find out, no, there is no deal. This is not a deal. This is a classroom. And your job is to pass the test so you can elevate to the next existence. We already talked about the gifts. We already talked about the Kodesh Madakim. We already talked about how the Nephilim came into creation. We even talked about how beautiful Lucifer was. If you haven't been caught up on all of that, let me keep it moving from right here. Because the person who was responsible for all of this, the person that all of this spun off of, the person that got all of this madness set in motion, the person who was responsible for making them fine sisters that made the Kodesh Madakim say, to hell with being watchers and angels. And angel means messenger. To hell with doing that. To hell with sitting here looking like he told us to. We going down here because, as we've taught you already, you stop using this. Let's just take the word angel and throw it out the window, because they brainwashed you into believing when I say angel, you think it's some naked person flying around with some damn wings playing a harp and shit. That is no. That's not what the scriptures say. And I can sit here and we can spend 4-5 hours while I exegete every place where it talks about the sons of God, and it talks about the men that look so fair when they went into the city to try to go see. Look, let me go ahead and break some down. I'm gonna give y'all this one for free and we're gonna get up out of here. Look. Remember when y'all heard the story about they was going to send the spies into Canaan? Remember that? They was going to send the spies into Canaan because there were giants in Canaan. Oh, we're going to get back to the giants. Don't think y'all going to get away from that. That's what the book said. I'm not making this up. It says there were giants in Canaan. Now, where the hell you think the giants came from? Where you think David and Goliath, you think that was something where he was just a big dude, or Goliath was some little short dude who was about like, a foot tall? No. If you go back and look at the ancient, the first text inside of the Great Pyramids, which we're going to talk about, you'll find out that all of them were giants over the people. Every time you look at a picture, it's not like the guy who was drawing it had one eye bigger than the other. I'm going to draw him real big right here. And everybody going to be little. No, they drawing what they seeing. This was an amazing and terrible time at the same time. People, look, you have to realize the Nephilim lived on earth for 1,000 years before the flood. They didn't just mess up like it was in like 6 months. They messed up the world and everything got turned, and they had the cries had to go out, and then it got to the Kodesh Madakim, then it got all the way up to the archangels, then it got into Jehovah. He's sitting there like, what? Because the person responsible for setting all of this in motion is El Shaddai, El Elyon, El Adonai, Yahweh, Jehovah Nisi, Jehovah Ra, Jehovah Raphi, Jehovah Yama, Elohim, Jehovah Jireh. That's who set all this in motion. Now, see, a lot of people have a hard time hearing stuff like that because you've been lied to for so long. But here go the craziest part about it all. Sometimes y'all will hear me flip the script and I will go to the Egyptian books of gold, or I'll go to the books of morals and precepts, or I'll go to one of those other books that they charge you an arm and a leg and your third kid just to get a copy of. See, haven't y'all figured out that they give knowledge to the wealthy and they don't give y'all all the knowledge? Why do you think they keep stuff locked up away from you? Because they know how powerful it is. So sometimes when I go to those books, you notice those books will even predate those books, because the Bible only takes you back so far. It will start right here. And you ain't supposed to believe. You ain't never supposed to question, well, what the fuck was before this? I'm sorry, I got to ask. See, I was the kind of kid, I'd be sitting there listening going, but I got a question. No, you just got to believe what we tell you. And, you're not supposed to question. Well, hold on a second. If I'm not supposed to question, then why have I been given the ability to question this particular topic? Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't tell me what I can't question when I have a question. Don't deny me the right. Just tell me you don't know the answer, or tell me I can't handle the answer, or tell me I'll let you be a judge for yourself, but don't say I didn't warn you. But don't tell me that I can't ask the question, because who made me? Whose image am I in? Whose abilities do I have? I have his. So I'm going to ask you the question, because what you just said to me about that which created me don't make no sense. Well, if you don't like it, you can. No, see, that's why people don't like to go to those temples, because they inject themselves into the path of the connection that you got with your spiritual father. They ain't got nothing to do with them. But because they use religion as a system of control, and they still using it against you today to control you. But when we wake up from the matrix like we have, they say, I don't agree with his views. I don't agree with your views either. I can show you in the scriptures where you are half stolen, half rewrote shit. Now, can you show me that? I can show you everything in the Old Testament that talks about what's going to happen in the New Testament. I don't see nothing in the New Testament that talks about nothing that was supposed to happen back in the Old Testament. Come on now. And then you're going to take the end of it off and then put it back? Come on, y'all. And then you wonder why it says in the last days, people will come forward who begin to prophesy and teach and tell the truth and start having dreams and visions. Because somebody set all this in motion. So tonight, as we explore the Nephilim and the pyramid of the apocalypse, we have to explore two things that come straight out of the Nephilim. Okay? Keep the Nephilim in the back of your mind as we explore what we call the seat of God. Picture that. I need y'all to get with the concept. The seat of God. If someone was to build the seat of God on earth, what would it look like? Where would it be? And who would have the ability to build it? Because I'm going to take y'all to a real strange place tonight. See, I'm going to raise the question that nobody wants y'all to ask. I'm going to raise it tonight. That's how we're going to kick this off. Don't nobody want to walk up and ask this question. Okay. You said that the word is infallible. You said that, right? You said it is either all true or it's all a lie. Okay, I'm going to run with that. So it's all true. I'm going to run with that. Now, I'm going to use your word and show you that there are 32 instances in your word where it talks about the Nephilim. I'm going to show you in your word where it said 322 times where it talks about the sons of God in the facet of someone that's a messenger, not as someone that's died and gone on. No. That's something that the Romans came up with. I'm going to show you that in your books since you say it's infallible, right? So here's the question. If it's infallible and it is talking about the Nephilim that you don't want to acknowledge exists or existed, but you also don't want to acknowledge that ancient Egypt was black people, you don't want to admit to that either. You want everybody to think that those people who occupy Egypt right now are the people that are the ancient people, but that's not who the original people was. Them people, they build no damn pyramids, pulling ropes and pulleys and all that bullshit. Y'all stop that. You couldn't understand that culture when you finally got into Egypt and it blew your mind. And to this day, y'all been sitting around trying to figure it out and you still ain't figured it out. But here's your conundrum, white society. If black people didn't build it, then the Nephilim built them. They built those pyramids. Because even with all of our technology, today we still can't build anything that's magnificent or perfectly aligned, even as heavy, precisely computer engineered from the inside out, aligned to the stars, aligned to the earth, sitting precisely in the center of the earth, fulfilling prophecy. Need I go to your own book and prove it to you? Y'all come on and roll with your boy real quick while I show you who's seated. I want y'all, all y'all who do have the slave master's Bible is cool because it's in there too. But if you got the whole book, not just the 66 that they give you, but the whole book, you got the books that they took out. You got the whole book. If you got that, join me in Isaiah 19:19. I ain't got to argue with you about what your own word says. Your word says, it says Isaiah 19:19, in that day there will be an altar to the Lord in the heart of Egypt and a monument to the Lord at its border. Now you have to ask yourself a question right off the top. How can you have an altar to God in the heart of Egypt and be at the border at the same time where you don't know your history? You don't know your archaeology. You see, at one time, Egypt was split. There was Upper Egypt and there was Lower Egypt. If you look at where the pyramid sits, it sits precisely on the middle of the border between the two of them. And then it is aligned with the 30th parallel, which places it at the center of the world. Round earth or flat earth, it doesn't make a difference. Somebody put it at the precise center of the earth. And as big as it is, as heavy as it is, in all of its time, it hasn't sunk not 1 inch. Somebody figured out how to put it on a piece of bedrock where it wouldn't move forever. And then on top of that, if that wasn't bad enough, roll with me again. After these heavy ass blocks was cut like with lasers and put together with computer precision, and then with rooms that they went inside, they can't find no way to get nobody inside, but they cut with laser precision. We find find two observatories, two ways to look in the north sky, two ways to look in the south sky. Who's looking through the holes? What's going on? Is it an observatory? Well, we found the sarcophagus. You didn't find no goddamn sarcophagus. What you found was an actual representation of a paradigm in gold mathematics that they actually put down there, and it looks like a sarcophagus, but it ain't got no top and it won't no body in it. Everything about the place screams of a high technology, a high understanding, and an alignment to the stars. That's scary as hell, but you want them to believe that they did it. No, no, no. You need to make up your mind. Either black folks are far advanced, or we used to be the most advanced civilization that this planet had ever seen, and we have lost the ability to remember how we did it. And you know this, but you don't want us to wake up and realize how powerful we was, because it's like that movie Resident Evil. Y'all remember in Resident Evil when they went down there because the computer went crazy and sealed the hive, killed everybody. Then, of course, they can't leave well enough alone. They sent the soldiers in to go find out what the hell was going on. And the computer was homicidal and got them down there. Y'all remember that? It's the same type situation. We're doing the same thing here. Some people, the nerve gas done hit you, so you got amnesia. But remember, halfway through the movie, what happened? The amnesia wore off, and everybody snapped back to who they really was. Because up until that point, everybody was cool. Just like now, all y'all cool. Everybody trying to get along. Yeah, we live in that hard time. Yeah, it's a quarantine, but we trying to make it through. Yeah, there's a epidemic or pandemic out there. If they say, okay, we playing that game. Okay, racism is at an all-time high, but we still hanging in there. We doing all right. Mm-hmm. And then something happens. Something so egregious that it affects every last one of us. And all of a sudden, everybody's true character come out. The amnesia wear off. And people begin to realize their potential and how much power they really have. The power in their unity. I don't think y'all realize how much power y'all have. It's downright scary sometimes. Not to hold it back, not to let it loose, but to hold it back. I got his top for a minute, and I have to salute all my brothers over in Nigeria right now that are involved in the protests against the SARS. If you're not familiar with what's going on in Nigeria, they created a SWAT-like police unit that was called the SARS, and they was running around kidnapping people and raping people and doing all kind of horrible things, and the people got sick of it. They stone cold sick of it. So now they tearing up the joint, tearing it up like they do African style, not like what y'all do over here with rainbows and signs. They getting it in right now as we speak, and I salute them all the way because they too are affiliates of the NFAC coalition. So a couple of things I want to say right now. Y'all might as well go ahead and know, because you're gonna see it sooner or later. We do have some members of our family, of our NFAC family, that are on the ground in Nigeria. They just touched down, and I'm hoping they had a safe trip. They're going to let us know what's happening on the ground. We're going to get some intel. We're not just going to be going off of what they put on the internet. Big shout out to those folks. And I'm not going to give you the chapter of the coalition. We don't put it out, but I will publicly say, because we're going to find out what's really happening on the ground over there in Nigeria. So to the team that just sat down in Nigeria, we will be live streaming soon. So to find out what's happening, y'all stay tuned. We're not playing around. I told y'all, in fact, it's global. So we salute everybody on the ground over there in Nigeria that's fighting up against the SARS. The SARS need to go away. Okay, we all know the government is corrupt. But look, y'all don't get out of my old inbox. Don't be in this one either. At the end of the day, I have to stop and salute these people. I have to, because the trouble is not just happening over here in the United States. It's happening all around the world. I'm telling y'all, it's popping off globally. It is not just popping off here in the States. Okay? Before I move on again, I want to salute another group of people that, and I'm gonna say this, and I hope that they take it at face value. I really do. But and I have to start off by saying, I have to salute you. I have to appreciate your position, because you kind of caught in a situation that you didn't ask for, but you do the best you can. And that is to all of my people who are my students and people that, that are my biracial people. I'm talking to biracial people because biracial people always are the ones that people either don't want to accept you in one group, or they don't want to accept you in the other group. And you got to, you're trying to negotiate that whole thing. And sometimes it can be easy. And then other times you'll find yourself getting the door slammed in your face because You might be black, but you look white. So now all of a sudden everybody like, I don't know what I'm, but that's not fair to everybody, because those people that are biracial, which is something where, you're two different races, or you black in another race or whatever, however you want to term it. It's a hard time sometimes trying to find someone, how do you want to fit them in? You know what I mean? When you look at the way they do applications, they'll have, what race are you? They'll have black, white, whatever, but they don't have biracial. They'll have you go other. You get what I'm saying? So, and I know a lot of people in this movement that have been very vocal about saying that, that they too support the movement, and that they want to contribute to the movement. They want to support the movement. They consider themselves black as far as they concerned. They ain't trying to hear all that bullshit. And I've had some conversation. I want to let anybody that is biracial, that has an interest in joining the NFAC, that you go ahead and submit your applications to blacknfac.com. Again, the same qualifications. Somebody better be black. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say right there. We're gonna find out. Don't come up there with no Rachel Dolezal, because the sisters ain't gonna play that. I'm telling you that right now. They gonna get you soon as you get in the door. They gonna get you soon as you get in the door. So that I wanted to get that out there. Now let's get back to what's happening here. We're talking about this seat of God, this altar of God that was supposed to be in the heart of Egypt, and it's supposed to be a monument to God at its border, which this satisfies. So whoever built this thing, they were actually satisfying what was already prophesied. And what prophecy simply means, it's going to come true. That's it. I'm going to say something that's going to come true. I'm telling y'all about something that's going to come true. Okay, a lot of this stuff was prophesied thousands of years, and then it came true. Now that we know that there's some type of scriptural representation of the pyramids, because there's nothing else on the planet that satisfies this definition. Research it for yourself. I ain't got to go ahead and dig out all of the details, because not so much, we can't focus on who built the pyramids yet and why before we focus on how they were around to build the pyramids. See, y'all got to remember first book Enoch. Remember, this is before the flood. Think about it. Before the flood. Think about it. Enoch, fallen angels, the wrath, flood, everything wiped out. Okay, well, if everything got wiped out, how did the Nephilim reappear after the flood? This is going to take us closer to whose seat is it? The Nephilim was still on the earth in those days, and also afterwards when the sons of God went to the daughters of human and they had children with them. Y'all know that. We done learned that for almost the last 6-7 months. They were the heroes of old men. They were men of renown. That's what the scripture says. If the flood of Noah wiped out all the Nephilim, ask yourself, then where did the angels who showed up after the flood, who did they do this time? I'm telling y'all what just happened. The Nephilim did it again. See, there are two groups. Let me break this off. It wasn't one group. Let me shatter that belief. It wasn't one group that screwed up. This was a reoccurring problem. This is how bad it was. It was a reoccurring problem. Y'all still ain't getting it. It wasn't the same group of angels. It was another group. They already knew. Look, we just seen him wipe out the whole place. He done started fresh. We got a fresh crop. They starting to multiply. Girls looking good again. And they went and did it again. Okay. Now you can look in your slave master's Bible somewhere around Peter 2:5. It states that all of the ungodly were wiped out in Noah's flood. In Genesis 7, in multiple verses, confirms that indeed all of humanity and all soulless creatures associated with humanity, except for those on board the ark, were supposed to be killed. So the Nephilim, they didn't survive the flood. But the explanation for the post-flood Nephilim is that the sons of God, who is distinct from the ones that went down the first time. Now remember, we told you what happened to the first ones. They turned into what? Their physical could be destroyed, but they were spirit created beings, which meant that the spirits stay alive. He can't destroy it, but that's why they're consigned to stay here and never leave. And your crazy ass is stuck in here with them until you graduate from here correctly. See, it's kind of like being in the scary house when you go to the fair. You know how you got to pay your money and walk through, and they had the blinking lights and the skeleton and all that crazy stuff going on, and then they turn around and they have somebody extra jump out and scare the hell out you. And then, okay, not if you don't knock them out, but they have somebody jump out and scare you. Okay, it's the same thing. They're trapped here. They're never going to leave in spirit. because they can't die. The same way your soul can be destroyed, but on its own, it'll never die. Your body will be destroyed. Remember, one comes. If y'all don't know what that means, go back and watch that class. When you step up and the mirror comes down, one comes and you lose your physical form and we see the true form of your soul. Remember, y'all, this is not about what you see in front of you. Y'all are watching this shit play out right in front of you and you getting distracted by the bells and the whistles. This ain't the time to get distracted. Okay. So now we know that after the flood, they had more Nephilim. And they went down there and clowned out. And let me break this down for some people, for my more learned people. Let me break this down. Okay. So y'all have heard different versions of this story in different cultures. You know, like in the Greeks, they say they put them in Tartarus. You know, in ancient Egypt, they put them down in Hades and locked them up. They locked them up somewhere. But this matches the actual story that says that once they had fallen, again, they were placed into an abyss. That's what it says. It doesn't say what type of abyss. An abyss is a bottomless pit. They were put in a place where there's no way to get out of this. This abyss, therefore, contains two sets of fallen angels. Those who had violated the human women before the flood and those who had violated the human women after the flood. So if the sons of God was human males, this interpretation, y'all, is going to imply that God had commanded the sons of Shem and Japheth not to have sexual relations with the daughters of Ham and Canaan. That violation of this command evidently would have produced a second generation of Nephilim. Did I just break something down for you? Let me say it to you one more time. If the sons of God were human males, because remember, they were spirit beings who could actually look like people, but they could do things that we couldn't because they were spirit created. And we don't know what spirit is. We just know that they were different from us. Somebody asked me a question. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to answer this question. Somebody asked me a question during the week. They said, well, I watched the course. I have a question. The angels stop using angels, the Kodesh Madakim that came down instead from their watching position that actually made it with the sisters, did they have wives back in heaven? I'm like, no, you missed the whole point of the exercise. They were spirit created beings. They would have lived forever. They didn't need to reproduce. Flesh beings like us with a soul, we were given a partner to reproduce because that's the method of our reproduction, because we are a limited life being. We're capped at 120 years. So no, they were never supposed to mate with them. I know that's hard for some of y'all to hear, but it's the truth. But anyway, I digress. If the sons of God were human males, this interpretation would imply that God had commanded the sons of Shem and Japheth not to have sexual relations with the daughters of Ham or Canaan. And that violation, and there was a violation, evidently would have produced a second generation of Nephilim. So you don't have to ask yourself, where did they come from? The question is what happened after that. And that's where things get kind of interesting. Because if you think about it, if we don't have the technology today to look, we can't even move one of the stones that wasn't used that's laying out in the open. We can't even move it because we're not big enough. Human beings haven't always been this size. Matter of fact, I got a couple books I'm going to lay on y'all tonight. One book I want to recommend you go out and get is this book right here. Go out and get The Ancient Giants Who Ruled America. This is The Missing Skeletons and the Great Smithsonian Cover-Up by Richard J. DeWoos. This book right here puts forth an interesting hypothesis. You know how when you ask people about the history of America, they always look at you and give you this crazy ass stare. And you say to them, well, what was here before you got here? And I don't want to hear about people running around down in the bushes, whatnot, with no clothes on, shooting bows and arrows. That's not what I see when I look around this place. When I go to the mounds outside of St. Louis, and you can see a damn pyramid base bigger than a Great Pyramid, and you can still mount the steps. What was here? I went up those steps, and I was higher up than the city. I could see in miles. Who built something like that? For what purpose? Who were these people that I know nothing about? I don't see no bows and arrows around here. When I think about cities like Cahokia that extended from Chicago all the way down to the Gulf Coast, one city, one massive city, with multiple pyramids. A complete civilization that they don't talk to y'all about. Which means they're not going to talk to y'all about none of the finds that they've made in the United States and how the Smithsonian has been guilty, as they say, of finding stuff and then hiding it so that nobody knows the truth, or they want y'all to forget that there were giants in the United States at one time. Here's another book that you should also get. I'm trying to hook y'all up tonight. This is another one. If you don't have There Were Giants Upon the Earth by Zachariah Stitchin, and y'all know who Zachariah Stitchin is. Don't sit there and act like you tuned into this and you don't know who Zach is. You don't know about the 12th planet. You have not at one time or another went and asked about Nibiru. You haven't sat back and wondered what's wrong with the sky. You haven't stopped for 2 seconds and said, why won't they tell us? Maybe it's because a lot of it has nothing to do with what's coming out of the sky. It has a lot to do with what's going to have to come out of your soul and your heart when you realize what we are up against and what is happening and where you really fit in the story. Or you're going to be mad tonight. Because when you figure out whose seat is it, you're going to go back and punch your pastor in the mouth. You're going to go back and crucify all the deacons. You're going to go back and say, y'all lied to me. I want all my money back. You're going to go back to the theology. You go back to the seminary and say, you know what? This theology you gave me is BS. I found out that there's some BS down the street called better stuff that I'm going down here to get for free, because they're trying to liberate us. They're trying to elevate our minds. They're trying to reshift us back pre-slavery when it comes to our spiritual beliefs, as well as what we need to do to unify. We can't unify as a people until we get our hearts right, until we get our minds right. I think it's a shame that we have been conditioned to hate first and like later. Hate first, like, I don't get that. I don't get that. Another good book that I recommend that you all get, and I don't know how I'm going to get into this, but since I'm on the case of Zachariah Stitchin, it's a new one he has. It's called The Lost Book of Inky. The Lost Book of Inky by Zachariah Stitchin kind of answers the question that I'm going to ask later in the course. People always want to spend so much time asking who built the pyramids. I like to explore why the pyramids were built, and not just the pyramids, but an entire region there where there appears to be something else going on, simply putting people in tombs. I find it interesting that white people want you to believe whenever they can understand something that we built or that we designed, we was worshiping the dead. Let's know that's not what we do. We worship life. That's what you do. You always want to remember the day somebody died. And it was 25 years ago they blew this man's head off. That's what y'all do. We don't do that. We celebrate the life of. This is so-and-so's birthday. This was the day that she birthed her grandkids. This was the day that we celebrate life. We don't run around talking about, the day was 35 years since your brother got ran over by that steamroller. I sure is going to miss him. If you don't get out my face with that negativity. Everybody sitting around, oh, woe is me. No, that's not what we want to do. Everybody out there all sullen, y'all playing that sad ass music. He said, celebrate life. Now, when I get into this whole situation with why the pyramids are there, we're going to take a completely different turn. Because you see, you have to acknowledge that there has to have been a higher intelligence than what you see right now. And the problem is when you have gone out and plundered and pillaged the world and destroyed everybody's culture and enslaved all the damn geniuses, the princes and everybody who could have told you about the shit. You went and got the best and the brightest, and this is what you did to them. Now they over here, they can't even get themselves together. They over here confused. They don't know who they are. They got cultural amnesia. You trying to tell them who they are. They want to fight you about that. You trying to show them who they are. Now they want to kill you. You trying to liberate them from the matrix that they're in. Now they want to try to tear you down and act like that it ain't happening. But the people know. There's somebody sitting right now like, I know that's right. You ain't gonna sit there and tell me that I'm comfortable in this captivity that we sitting in right now, like everything is good, like ain't nobody sitting around talking about the fact that these white boys getting themselves amped up about this election, riding around and pick up trucks, flying Trump sign, Trump billboards, Trump blimp, all kind of Trump, all in your damn face, while they steadily loading up semi-automatic weapons and talking about, yeah, we gonna go down here to the polling place, we gonna do all this, like that's not against the goddamn law. Don't you know that's against federal law to show up at a polling place with an arm? Don't be acting like we stupid. No, you the stupid ones. If anybody shows up at a polling place with a goddamn semi-automatic, your ass is going to jail. NFAC ain't even thinking like that. Ain't nobody running in now. And let's just hold on a second. Let me go ahead and clear something up real quick. We wouldn't do anything like that. But an out and out attack on innocent black people that didn't do shit, that was minding their own business, innocent people, they don't give a damn about voting. Really? Now that is a different situation. But this bullshit that y'all talking about, oh, now they're getting ready for the militia, they're going to be at the voting place. No, ain't nobody thinking like that. Why? Why? I had to address that, y'all. I hope y'all can rock with me. NFAC for life. So if you know anything about how the Hebrews used to measure, they used to measure things in a cubit. And a cubit was somewhere around 25 inches long. So that was so if you look at the pyramid, the length of each side of the base was 365.2422 cubits. Now, isn't that interesting? Because that's the same number of days it is in a year, including the extra day for every 4 years. So somebody sat down and figured out leap year too. And then if you take the slope, if you take the sides of the pyramid, they at such an angle that where they meet at, the height is 232.52 cubits. Now, if you take twice the length of the side of the base, now stay with me now, and that was to be divided by the height, you're going to arrive at a figure, and then watch this, I'm going to mess somebody up with my smart people, at 3.141559, which when you multiply that by times the diameter, it gives you the circumference. That base equals the exact dimensions of the earth. Somebody took the time to do the math on this. So this wasn't something that slaves, this wasn't done by, no, hold on. I know y'all don't remember this, but you all understand that the type of calendar you're using right now is not the type of calendar that they used back then. The real type of calendar is called a sidereal calendar. And a sidereal calendar is based on the years of the stars, and the year of the season is called the equinox. Okay, so these don't differ at all. They are very, very precise. And we never should have moved away from it. But we ain't the ones that tried to reorder everything by rewriting religion, rewriting the calendar, trying to rewrite history and everything. Now, I told y'all once before, whether you believe in a flat earth or a circle, the Great Pyramid stands at the exact center of the whole thing. It's midway between the west coast of Mexico and the east coast of China, between the North Cape of Norway and the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa. It stands at the intersection of the 30th parallel all the way around. It's at the center. Now, here's what I thought was interesting about this place, the Great Pyramid. It's sitting exactly where Isaiah said the seat of God would sit. It's aligned in the creation perfectly, exactly as the Creator would want it. And it is indestructible even after all these years, even though it doesn't look like it used to look. As a matter of fact, history records that when they first saw the pyramid in all of its glory, it was covered in a white limestone that was white and it gleamed, and they said you could see it from anywhere on the horizon where you was, because the whole thing was white and the top of it was capped with solid gold, the capstone. Now, I'm not going to say you who showed up on the scene and seeing all of this Egyptian magnificence and blew it up and raped, robbed, and pillaged and stole every goddamn thing like they have to this day, and got the nerve to take it back to their country and put it on display as if it's the spoils of war, and take all of our beloved out and put them on display and make they little monkey people go in there and pay to see them like it's a goddamn zoo. It makes me wonder, where did you come from? But then again, I have to go back to the Nephilim. You have to remember about the Nephilim, who they was, what did they do, how did their offspring act. Remember, they said they were violent by nature. Remember what they said. They were destructive. I told you about Cain and Abel and the Nephilim and the fallen angels, and there wasn't no goddamn snake in the grass that did nothing. There ain't nobody ate no goddamn apple. We done cleared that up already. Y'all don't even want to admit the whole story. This whole thing was set in fact that when they went down there the first time, they didn't just hit the women that was down there. They hit Eve too. Aziel hit that. That's why Cain killed Abel. They were half brothers. He was a Nephilim. And to this day, that blood still flows in some people's veins. So, that being said, I now have set you up to the place where I need you to be, because this Great Pyramid that was built and everything around it was done by very intelligent and very large creatures with a high technology that knew exactly how to do things that wouldn't be discovered. So they tell it for thousands of years. It's kind of like I, it's kind of like I give a wrench to a monkey and he builds me a Volkswagen or a TV set with just that. Nah, we can't buy that. This is the kind of stuff they don't want you to see, that the proof is all around you. But I keep posing my question. If black people didn't do it, then the Nephilim did it. And if the Nephilim didn't do it, then black people did it. Which one is it? Whose seat is this? Is this the seat of God that was built by the Nephilim? And why? Oh, we're going to get into that in a minute. Well, maybe it was built by black folks because they were that aligned with the Creator. See, either way, you lose and we win, because we're either the children of a race that was protected from an abomination that tried to rise up to the heights of the Creator, and he kept us, which means we are the jewel of the Creator. Or it means that, well, for lack of a better term, this whole thing is we just got lucky. And we was here first. And we had a relationship with the Creator. And whatever happened, we still here. Even though things is out of balance, we still here. Sooner or later, Daddy was going to come home. And that's when we activate in our DNA, in our spirit walk. You know, one of my Bruce Wayne jobs, when I'm doing Bruce Wayne, when I'm not out here trying to liberate my people, is that I do cloud architecture. Yes, I can go into any one of the predominantly platforms, whether it's AWS, Azure, or GCP. I can build out all of the S3 buckets, the database, and all the VPC networks. I can then load in any type of web interface that I so desire and any identity access management so that anybody can't get in unless they have the right password. And then I can join it to your data center and automate all your functions so that everything works from everybody's cell phone, laptops, and all of those. So I can build out that entire infrastructure, lay down the application layer of whatever you program, and then hide it behind a web interface that only select individuals can find it. What I've just described to you is a system that anyone can upload data to. And then once it gets to that, it stays there. So anybody that has access to that cloud, that has access to that infrastructure, that has the right credentials, can get that data. It is written that there's another cloud that existed way before that. If you've ever heard of the Acacia, then you understand how some of us can plug in to infinite data through our relationships with the Most High and tap into just like a DNA record of everything that we've ever known, everything that we've all learned as a collective species. How do you plug into this? Some of us who've opened our third eye, well, it's kind of easy, but others meditate their way to it. People who meditate know exactly what I'm talking about, especially if a group of you plug into this network and you begin to acquire certain knowledge. The question then becomes, what do you do with the knowledge? Do you help your people or do you sit on it for selfish reasons? And just be so forewarned that once you become so learned and so connected with Yah that he begins to let you plug into this cloud, that people will either love you or they will hate you, or they'll do both. Because what you're going to do to them is going to wake them up too. Because it's contagious. That's why they don't want you to have none. Unity, you thought crack was addictive. Unity is addictive. All you need to do is try it one time. Just try it one time. Go and give it a hit. We ain't gonna, look, ain't nobody gonna do nothing to it. You go ahead, be pure. It's you. You know, that's pure. Big shout out Tony Baker. That's pure. You understand what I'm saying? Try it one time. Unity is our strength. It says right here, it says somehow that the builders knew that the world was round but flattened at the poles, which caused a degree of latitude to lengthen the bottom and top of the planet. They knew this. These people knew the earth like the back of their hand. Now, either they were black folks and we fell way off, or it was the Nephilim. I told you I was going to hit y'all and be in and out your hair. That there concludes this piece of the 8-part series. Whose seat is this? Somebody need to make a decision, because either way, we're either the chosen or we're the first and the superior who need to wake up from our amnesia. And then unification will be no problem. Because not only is the country ours, this world is ours. And everyone under the sound of my voice needs to get with the program on that. Stop standing around spectating, watching all of this stuff unfold. Don't wait for it to pop off in your face. History has a way of repeating itself. When they had the riots down in Miami, people was downtown having lunch, minding their own damn business, drinking coffee, reading the newspaper, not knowing that hell was breaking loose around the corner until they started shooting innocent black people in the street and people falling out and people trying to figure out what is going on. No, them white folks lost their damn mind and start attacking any black person in sight. And if y'all not paying attention to how crazy these people talking about this whole, they done got themselves pumped up on this Trump juice now without realizing, look, it ain't that serious. Get the fool out of office. That's all. We done with that. But all of this, we're going to be in the street with guns and shit for what? This ain't America no more. Did we miss a memo? I'm just asking the question. Somebody help me out because I thought I was still in America. I mean, damn, you don't agree with the vote, so you out here with a gun? Oh, so why vote then? Why are we voting? You know, I mean, come on, let's keep it 100. What we vote? If that's the case, why we vote? We ain't got to wait for no vote. We ain't got to wait for no vote. If that, I mean, come on, y'all, come on. I need black people to get together and get on code. Y'all got to stop this spectating shit and wake up and get on code. Damn. Now, somebody need to make up their mind and let me know. Because here's the most troubling part before I go. Oh, you thought it was over. No, we ain't done yet. When we talk about why the seat was there and how does it satisfy scripture, you have to understand that they talk about in the holy book, they talk about the New Jerusalem coming down. Okay, now remember, the New Jerusalem is supposed to come down at the end of Revelations. It says until all of this horrible other stuff happened, the New Jerusalem is not going to come down. And if you take the time out to read no other book in the slave master's Bible, or if you got the original Greek Aramaic text, read the book of Revelations, because this is stuff that ain't supposed to have happened yet, or it's beginning to happen. And we're going to break down a couple things that actually have happened, and you might have missed the message, or you missed the sign because you was busy looking down when you should have been looking up. He said, keep your mind focused on things above, not to your left, not to your right, but above. But they don't trick you with these little phone devices and things like this, and they keep you looking down. So you are not going to see what you're supposed to see to happen right in front of your face. And then when they come knocking on your door talking about it's judgment time, and you sitting there talking about, wait a minute, I didn't even see that. I didn't get the message. We know you was on Snapchat. You ain't see it, but guess what? Snapchat can't help your ass now. Come on, it's judgment time. Don't be that person. Don't be judgment time. And you sitting there looking stupid. Don't be that person. This ain't the time for that. But we all know everybody don't get to go. We know that. So when this New Jerusalem is coming down, they give very, very details about what it looks like. And when all of the data was taken about how big and how wide this thing was, they came to a conclusion that it would be 1,500 miles on one side, 1,500 miles on another side, and 1,500 miles on another side, and 1,500 miles on another side. That's both sides. Then it said it was going to be 15 miles on this side, and 15 miles on that side, and 1,500 miles on, 1,500, y'all stay with me, and 1,500 on this side. Most people will say, well, that's a cube. No, it's a pyramid. Okay, let me bring it home. Let me help y'all out because y'all not making the connection. Here's what we getting at. The Nephilim and the Watchers and the fallen angels, those that were cast to earth, the first set and the second set, the spirit ones and the physical ones, the ones that created the giants in Canaan, and the ones that when Moses and them had to try to go take the promised land, it was giants over there. They came back and said, did you see what's over there? We can't go over there. They were giants. Study the records. I got another book. Hold on. Where's the book at? You need to read the Anunnaki Chronicles. Again, another book. This is by Zechariah Stitchen's wife. You have to read the Anunnaki Chronicles to understand what I'm about to tell you about. They had a situation where these different populations of Nephilim lived all over this particular area. It wasn't just one or two. They were a population. They extended all down through Egypt too, all down through Africa. They weren't just, they weren't just this small group over here. No, they were a population. They existed for 1,000 years. So now you telling me we on the other side of the flood. They are running wild again. Okay, now here's the problem. This New Jerusalem, you say that's going to come down at the end of this age that it looks like we pulling up on. You trying to tell me that another pyramid, why would they build something that looks like something? They said, because when they were cast down to earth and they could never go back, they followed scripture and they built a seat that resembled where they came from. Remember what he said, I'm bringing it. They never teach y'all this in the church, do they? They never want to preach revelations, do they? They don't want to talk about what's going to happen because when the shit start to happen, they don't want to sit there and be like, I ain't have a clue. Because you'd be like, hey, pastor, why didn't you tell me that back on September 23rd of 2017, the great sign in the sky actually happened as it's foretold in Revelation 13? Why, pastor? Pastor? You know what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about. That's why a lot of us are where we are today. Because we went to ask those questions and were told you can't get an answer to that because they don't know the answers. Because that's not their purpose. Their purpose is to control you when shit go wrong. As soon as something go wrong, we got the preachers up here. They're calling for peace. And listen, everyone, let's just praise God. Let's just make sure we've got Jesus on our side. Let's not do that. We understand. No. Vote for me. Got a bunch of pastors. But y'all act like there's people like, let me tell you let me speak to this particular segment of the community. The problem with that is you don't speak for everybody. Yes, there's a lot of people who don't come to the temple. They don't play the church game. They're not a member of your flock. They're not sitting there giving you tithe and first fruits and first offerings and contributing to this fund and that fund and that. They're not playing that game. They're out here studying the word to the best of their ability, listening to those who can rightly divide the word for them and exegete the meaning behind the meaning so that they can build their own relationship directly, as the scriptures say, with Yah. Not help you with your tax breaks. So when you go and you try to speak for us, you try to speak for the whole race, you're speaking for people that don't even get down with you like that. See, let me tell you, I know how you feel about me. That's why you won't speak my name on the air. You won't speak my name on black radio. You won't speak my name on public. You let the white folks on the other side of the globe talk about it because they find that shit amazing. But the rest of y'all over here scared to death because the truth is walking. Can I teach in here? Now, if it's a pyramid and it was built by these people who were trying to reminisce about going home, then that is irrefutable proof that the pyramids prove that the Nephilim existed, prove that they were spirit-made beings, proves the existence of Yahweh. I'm done. There go your proof. And it ain't going nowhere. And it's in your face. And they run around, got y'all praising a piece of crucifixion, piece of wood. That ain't the mark he left you. He left you the mark right there. It is proof. And if you don't believe none of that, then you got to go the other way. Okay, none of that's true. Then black people are the most advanced people that ever existed. And the shit we did, can't nobody remember how to do it. And nobody can recreate it. Is that the credit you really want to give us? Well, if that's the case, you need to hurry up and give us what's owed to us. Because if you don't, we might wake up out of our amnesia and remember how powerful we was. That's what I'm talking about. You see, y'all got to realize, I didn't come here to make you feel good. I came here to wake you up and put you on notice. I'm all the ancestors rolled up into one. We got tired of watching y'all sit back and you get in with them. And every time you integrate, your businesses disintegrate. Whenever you integrate into their environment, your stuff disintegrate. You had your own businesses. You had your own hospitals. You had your own businesses. You had your own factories. You had your own everything. You had your own library. You even had your own police force. I'm Grandmaster J. This has been Factz Ova Feelingz. I'll see y'all tomorrow on the Morning Mental. Remember the pyramid of the apocalypse and the Nephilim. We'll pick it up tomorrow. Love y'all. Shalom. Whose seat is it?